Teaching English in Beijing is probably one of the most common jobs, I think, for a foreigner.
Exactly.
And probably one of the easiest to get into, although it doesn't mean that it's very easy. Right? It's one of the easiest, but actually working in China is not easy, and it's getting more and more difficult every year.
Welcome back, my name is Oscar, and recently I met a friend of mine called Locke. He's having a child called Oscar. I'm really excited to meet the child, and the child is right here, as you can see him. I hope you guys are seeing. Oh, they can see him. You can just...
Okay, he'll come up in a second.
He'll come up in a second. Don't worry. So right now, what actually I really wanted to tell you guys is that the experience of teaching. I've had a little experience of teaching, so I wanted to know more exactly and share a lot of knowledge on the experience of teaching, because I've had people saying a lot of things about teaching in China, but we didn't get to know what exactly things that are the problems, actually the problems facing, or what are the main advantage that could actually make you also move from your country and come here to China to teach. So without further ado, let's proceed. What's your name?
Name?
Actually, that was just kidding. Continue.
Oh. So I'm Locke. Loxley. Oh, should I even say that? Okay. Okay. So I'm Locke, and I'm here today with Oscar, and we're going to talk about the two Oscars, right? 1 and 2, big and small. And we're going to talk today about teaching English in China, or in Beijing, right? That's where we are right now. So teaching English in Beijing is probably one of the most common jobs, I think, for a foreigner.
Exactly.
And probably one of the easiest to get into, although it doesn't mean that it's very easy. Right? It's one of the easiest, but actually working in China is not easy, and it's getting more and more difficult every year. Every year there's a new change to the policy, so yeah. The important thing is make sure you are legal to teach in Beijing, because it's not worth it. The benefit is just not worth, you know, the risk is not worth the reward.
Like the risk if you teach and you're not allowed.
Yeah. If you teach in Beijing and you're not allowed, you know, you can face a fine, prison time, you can be deported, and never be allowed to come back. And for what? It's not worth it. Okay, Oscar's coming up.
Yeah, Oscar's coming.
So I've been here in Beijing now, and I was teaching in a school for 6 years.
6 years.
6 years.
That's a very good experience. Trust me. Like 6 years is something that, like, it's a pro level experience.
I would say the first year and a half is probably the most difficult, because you have to adjust to the style of management in Beijing and the changes from when you first started to your second year, because every year there's something different you need to take into account. But teaching in a class is a lot of fun. The actual teaching is a lot of fun. And watching, you know, you're telling the kids things that they've never heard of before, teaching them new words, some jokes, and then when you hear them using the things that you've taught them and speaking back to you, it sounds like a little version of you. It's quite cool.
So what do you advise to a person who is so anxious? You know, like this teaching English, for those people, for example, in my country, the ones that are teaching, it's either English, it's any subject, like they are paid very well. Like
in your country?
In my country. So for those guys who are actually outside there, who are actually really in need of, really wishing to come here to teach also, like, what advice would you give them?
Do it. Maybe the first thing I would say is because China's so different and not everyone can adapt to the culture. So the first thing I would suggest for anyone who's looking to move here for any time is to come here first. Travel. Come here first on a trip, on a holiday. It doesn't matter how long. I say a few days at least, 2 weeks is good. just to see what day-to-day life is like, see what the food is like, because I know people who have been here, they planned to stay here for a year, and just because of the food, they left. And then I know people who have come here just on a holiday and then didn't want to leave because of the food. So something as small as food can make or break your experience. Also, I would say check up on your actual level of teaching. You know, have a try teaching some friends anything, and just see how you feel trying to get a message across to someone who, firstly, doesn't understand anything you're talking about, and secondly, may not be interested in what you're talking about. So you're going to meet these students as well. They don't know what you're talking about and they're not interested, and you have to try and convince them to like you, like your subject, and like taking your class. So a lot to think about before coming.
And like, what are the real main issues that actually you used to face and you're now facing on teaching? Like, what are the challenges?
I think one of the biggest challenges is the visa process.
The visa process.
Yeah, because before it was quite simple. You would apply for a job, you'd send them your documents, and you would get the job and get the visa. Now there are so many procedures you need to do in your home country before you can even come to China. Taking your degree certificate to somewhere to get a stamp, getting it translated, getting another stamp. There's so many steps, and it almost, sometimes it's like a job itself just to get the job.
Oh, okay. So does it like, for example, if someone is not inside China,
yeah,
it is very hard for someone to get a job here because he's outside. He needs, like, even those certificates is really, really important.
I don't think it's any harder to get the job. Once you found the job, I don't think it's any harder to get the job. It may be harder to find the job, and it may be harder to compare the jobs if you're not in China. Because when you're not in China, maybe you see an advert and you think this advert's great, and then when you arrive in China and you meet some friends who are also doing similar jobs, and then you realize that, ooh, you know,
the higher salary, right?
Yeah, high salary, maybe more holidays,
and more, like, the environment is better than you.
Yeah, and then you're stuck. You have to stay there for at least a year.
Yeah, and you, like, because there's a contract, right?
Right, there's a contract and your visa. So your visa is tied to your contract with the school, and it's 1 year or 2 years. I believe now they can even give 3 years, but most schools are still just giving 1 year like this. And yeah, your visa and your contract are tied. So you come here and find that you didn't get the job that you really want, but you still have to stay until the end of that contract.
Oh, and what are the advantages, like, or benefits?
Benefits, you can earn a lot of money, potentially, and you can save a lot of money. So even though some things cost a lot, the choice you have, you can live very cheaply, or you can live like you're living something.
Live a life, we say.
Yeah, live a life. The high life.
Yeah, the high life.
Yeah. So if you want to save money, of course you're not going to go to places like Starbucks and eat pizza every day, right? You want to save money, you can find some very nice local restaurants and eat some local food, and it's a fraction of the price. Yeah.
Okay, guys. So actually, that is actually part of the first part, and the main point is that in case if you really want to, like, teach English in China, you really need to get a serious agent, because actually some of the agents, right, as he once told me, that some of the agents, they're just fake. They are, like, giving fake visas, right? Right.
Some of the agents have been known to get the foreigners to come to Beijing, come to China, and then they get jobs that are not on the right visa. But sometimes you have no idea. Sometimes you think you've done everything right. You've applied for a job, you've got your visa, and you think you've done everything okay, but if you don't check on the agent, sometimes the agent is actually where the problem is, and then the trouble is yours, not theirs.
Okay, that's an issue also.
Yeah.
And you can even get like jailed, right?
Jailed, deported, and fines.
Oh, and fines.
All three. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Hope you guys have gotten something new here actually. And actually, for those guys who will be actually interested in teaching in China, let me know down in the comment section. Until me next time, there will be more videos coming about Beijing. And what do you have to say last?
Make sure you click like and subscribe to both of our channels.
Okay, and actually you subscribe to the little Oscar right here.
Yeah, little baby Oscar.
Yeah. So see ya.
See ya.